I'm Carmen Hunter, the founder of the Institute for Functional Health Coaching and creator of Education, Preparation, and Action, a three-step proven method of approach to helping any client with any condition or goal. I want to talk to you today a little bit about who I was over 7 years ago. I was someone who had walked through a serious health journey. I had spent over 15 years learning about every single system in the body, all the anatomy and physiology books I could get my hands on, anything about the mind-body connection, because I was struggling with chronic pain and I couldn't find a diagnosis. I went to over 21 doctors and after a decade was finally diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. By that time, I'd already made so many different changes in my own lifestyle with my own food choices that I was already seeing these great benefits from just taking things out of my diet like gluten or going to bed at a different hour. I was diving headfirst into how I could find a better way to live my life so that I didn't end up on pills and bed rest. Now, many coaches that have come to me and have taken my classes and I've mentored have come through their own health journey, and maybe that's where you are today as well. I want to encourage you to think about this. You've probably been through that health journey because there is a bigger purpose for you. And that bigger purpose is probably to help others. So if you've got that knowledge and that passion about the human body, about health, maybe you have a specific topic that you're super passionate about, like digestion or the thyroid or something like that, and you're just itching to get your story out there and find a way to help and share your information with others. I want to tell you a little bit about what could be going through your mind. Tell me if I'm right on with this. You're thinking, I know there's got to be a way to help other people, but I want to also make a living too. And maybe you're thinking, I know there's got to be some sort of liability behind something like this. Aren't we talking to people about their health? How do I know how to do that in a safe way? Well, I'm here to tell you that you're in the right place because I've had those questions myself too. So over 7 years ago, when I decided that I was going to take everything that I had been through and I was going to turn it into a business where I could make a difference in the world and honor myself at the same time, I was so excited. I got on the computer, I got onto Google, and I thought, how do I even find a title for what I want to do? Because back then, health coaching was not mainstream. There weren't that many people out there doing the health coaching business. They weren't mentoring, they weren't creating courses and content. It was really basically just a few people talking about life coaching, kind of Tony Robbins style, right? So when I typed the words into Google, that came up that in my mind of what would someone be looking for if they wanted to have a better life, right? So I put in there consulting, assisting others, helping people change how they eat, like just phrases and words that might lead me into a title for what it was I was trying to do. And then all of a sudden, this school popped up, and it said, "Want to become a health coach and help others? Click here." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to help others." And health coach sounds kind of down the middle road there. It's not exactly a nutritionist or a dietitian. I didn't want to do that. I'd already been to a university to ask them, how could I help other people change the way that they eat so they could have a healthier life? And everything I was told that was part of the curriculum was going against everything that I had learned over the years about what would be best for someone. For example, they were going to teach me about the food pyramid, right? Well, I say, you know what, turn that thing upside down, because for me, I don't believe in eating gluten, and I don't believe that we should be eating a ton of grains. I believe in a whole food lifestyle. I believe in removing inflammatory foods. I believe in a colorful plate. So I felt like if I actually went back to school to get a degree in health and human performance or nutrition, that I was going to be that student that was always raising their hand and saying, but what about this? But what about we need cholesterol for good hormones? What about low fat is not good for us? So I bowed out of that idea and that option, and I explored this institute that I clicked on and decided it would be a decent investment to get some letters behind my name so I could start sharing my knowledge. So I went ahead and signed up for the training, which I can only describe as pretty non-existent. I was finished with the course in less than a couple of weeks. I took the test, which actually was harder than learning all the training that they were giving me, which was pretty minimal. And then I said, you know what? I can now call myself a certified health coach. But then I thought, how do I build a business with this? And then I thought, how do I do this without getting myself in trouble? And then even my husband said, don't you need insurance to do something like this? And the next thing you know, my wheels were spinning. I thought, no one taught me any of this in school. How do I go about even beginning to do this? I already had personal training clients that were coming to me asking me to teach them, how do I eat so I can lose weight? How do I get through menopause? Just tell me what to eat, right? Those are the common statements that were coming my way. Just tell me what fish oil to take. Just tell me what vitamin D supplement to take. And I was free with my advice back then. I didn't realize that there was restrictions around these things, that even though health coaching wasn't mainstream, that I was putting myself at risk by saying specific words and using specific approaches. So I dove even deeper into how to do this the safest way possible. I learned as much as I could about the way to safely speak to my clients, how to write down information so that I didn't come across as telling them what to do, and so on and so forth. I then realized one day I woke up and I was like, I have a method here. I'd been using this approach with clients and developing a super busy, successful, thriving practice based on referrals alone because my clients were feeling empowered, they were feeling inspired, they were getting results. And you know what the greatest part about it was? Is I was just leading them there. I wasn't the one that was telling them what supplements to take. I wasn't telling them what they should put in their mouths. It's against our scope of profession. I learned that, a little bit late into the business, maybe a year into it, I learned that some of the things I was doing probably wasn't the safest way to coach. So once I learned that, and I always believe that once we hear and we know better, once we learn better, we know better, we should always do better. And so from that point of understanding, I figured out I've got to come up with an approach that is consistent, that I can use with every single client to save me time, and that is low risk and decreases my liability. But right away, I went out and got insurance. Once my husband brought that up, I figured out, you know what, I've got to have some professional liability insurance. So that was one of the first things that I did. All right, so now that we know, you have to have some insurance to become a health coach. You should anyway. We hope you never have to use it, and knock on wood, I've never had to. But we always want to have that there, just as that safety measure, that precaution. I figured out that I had so much knowledge just from my own health journey that I could put that into a form that was easy to deliver to others that they could then take and make decisions on their own with. I thought, this is genius, right? Genius. I can practice. I can share my passion. I can give people hope. I can teach them that there's a better way to live their lives. And all of the struggling and the suffering that I went through would not be in vain. I was going to make a difference in the world after all. So maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe you have gone through your own struggle. Maybe you're still dealing with a health condition or a health problem. Let me reassure you this. You don't have to wait to be a health coach until you're perfectly healthy to help people. In fact, when you're able to share your story, you really can resonate so much better with people who are struggling on their own or they're struggling to get started. So I don't know if maybe you've seen those perfectly healthy people. They don't have anything that looks wrong with them. They're thin, they're vibrant, they're doing yoga on the beach, they're tan, they're happy, and you think, I want to look like that and I want to help people. So maybe until I look like that, I can't help people. And I want to say that that is absolutely not true. And that if you are feeling the pull and the urge to make a difference right now, today is the time to start. At the Institute for Functional Health Coaching, what we do is we teach you how to investigate what's really going on with people. How do you get underneath the problem, the symptoms, the diagnosis that they've been given by their doctor? Help them to find hope and health. How do you show them that this isn't the life that they have to live, that there is a better way to do that? But then on the other hand, how do you build that thriving practice so that it becomes so much more than just a hobby? Because for me, when I was diving headfirst into this and I was trying to find out what was going on with me, I actually ended up not even working. I ended up doing part-time work because I was spending so much time learning about what was going on with me and what was wrong with me. I didn't have a health coach that I could reach out to and say, I'm overwhelmed. If you put in one word on digestion on Google, you're going to get thousands and thousands and millions of articles. So I want you to think about what somebody that is out there sick today, somebody that maybe has recently been diagnosed with IBS or something like that, they're feeling overwhelmed. They've left the doctor being probably told that they're going to have to start an immunosuppressive drug or just give up gluten and, just deal with being sick and not feeling good. Let's say that client is out there, that person is out there. Maybe that's you. Maybe that's someone in your family. But that feeling is it can feel so hopeless. You can feel helpless and hopeless and like this is just the life that you are supposed to live, is on pills and feeling bad and being unhappy. Now, wouldn't it be amazing if that person came out of the doctor feeling that way, found out that you were a health coach, and said, I need some help. I need some help because I'm overwhelmed. I don't even know where to begin. And you as a health coach were able to say, you know what? I'm going to help you in that overwhelm, and I'm going to take that feeling of stress and that hopelessness and helplessness, and I'm going to turn it into something great. And we're going to find a way to get to the bottom of this problem, and I'm going to empower you and inspire you to have a better life. And what if you had a process and a method to get that person there? Well, that's what the Institute teaches. We show you how to do this step by step. It's really quite simple. What's happening in the health coaching world today is everyone is complicating everything. Everyone is thinking that you have to completely eliminate everything that you love to get well, or they're telling their clients, what to eat and how to eat, and that they have to take out all of these things and go on a water fast or do a juice cleanse or a detox just to feel well. And in my opinion, I like to do things a little bit different. I like to give people hope and remove stress. And one of the ways that I do that is I turn everything kind of backwards. So where some people might do an elimination plan, I like to turn around and call it a backwards elimination plan. I like to take things out a little bit at a time and let them tap into their instincts and see how they're feeling. And if they feel pretty good, or they reach that feeling of optimal health sooner by just taking out things slower, then wouldn't that be great? I mean, why would we want to stress someone out by taking away everything they love and telling them that they may never ever get to eat it again, or that they have to go to bed at an hour that doesn't feel natural to them? Or we tell them that they have to stop exercising completely because their body's under too much stress, whatever it may be. So health coaching to me is completely different than it is for most people, because I've been the client and I've been the coach and I'm still the coach. And I believe that health coaches should learn from health coaches. If you want to learn how to be a health coach, you need to learn from somebody who's actually been through this, who has built a successful practice and is still actively engaging with clients every single day. And that's what I do. The other thing I teach my health coaches to do is to feel good enough, that you know enough, that you have enough within you to help other people. Now, the thing that lacks for most people, and I do work with already certified health coaches, is the ability to have that confidence that you are going to practice in a low-risk way that's going to keep you safe, and that your approach is going to be consistent and effective with every client that you work with. Doesn't that sound like a dream? Well, it's a reality. It's a reality with me because I struggled so much at the very beginning of my business. I didn't even know how to start. Now, I had a background in some advertising and some marketing promotional things, and I was pretty good about being the middleman when it came to fulfilling orders and answering questions and customer service. I excelled at that. Customer service was my thing. But what I wasn't really good at was how to be that entrepreneur that I was told I had to be to build this business. Entrepreneurship can be very intimidating, especially if you don't have someone telling you how to do it. So when I tell you that I navigated the waters of this business as an entrepreneur completely alone, I really truly did. I had to learn everything from what business licenses I needed as a health coach, because no one even knew what a health coach was. I had to explain what I did, and some of the things that I signed up for really, they didn't apply to what I was doing, and I lost a lot of money at the very beginning. I didn't realize that I had to file sales tax. No one told me that, so I had to backtrack and do all of that over again. No one really even explained to me about copywriting and trademarking. I learned all of that on my own as well. And then came the day that I was so busy with a waiting list practice, and I had to really tweak and change the way that I was coaching so that I could use the same approach with every client, because I was getting overwhelmed. Every time I would get a client, I would reinvent the wheel. And, as someone who struggled with health problems and overcame quite a bit, the last thing I wanted to do was go backwards in my own health while I was trying to help others move forward in theirs, right? And, a lot of you are probably there right now. Maybe you're in a place right now where you don't feel your healthiest, but you're learning so much. You're like, I feel like I have an obligation to help other people learn and understand how much better they could feel. So what I had to do is I had to create that approach that minimized the stress in my own life and my own business, where I could effectively work the hours that I felt comfortable working, still be a mom to my son, dropping him off and picking him up from school, which was my biggest joy and still is today. Over 7 years later, he's 12 years old now, and I'm still taking him to school and picking him up, and I'm home with him on holidays, which is fabulous. But also to be able to turn that computer off at the hour that I felt like it, to hang the phone up from that client, to be home from meeting with my clients and feel like I had accomplished something with them. And that I could lay my head on the pillow at night and know that I wasn't going to have to worry or whether I had told someone something dangerous. Like, for example, telling somebody about vitamin D and how important it is. is absolutely a part of what I do with coaching, but not telling them how much to take and what to take. That was something that was very, very difficult for me to be able to learn to lead them to the resource and let them make their own decisions, because I so badly wanted to say, start with this and do that, but that's not within our scope of profession. So I developed a technique and an approach, and I've told you about that at the beginning. The education, preparation, and action method of approach is where I wish someone had taken me when I was not well. So when I'm working with clients, I try to tap into what are they feeling when they first come to me? What are their beliefs? Are they nervous about working with someone that may not be a doctor? How do they feel about the way that they're living their life? Do they have a support system? The last thing I wanted to do with my clients was to stress them out even more and to make them feel judged or make them feel like they had to fast forward into health and be where I was in that day. So I created this, like I said, I created this approach, but it really starts with meeting your client where they are, no matter where they are. If they're driving through a drive-through and they're eating Wendy's, you meet them there, not necessarily at Wendy's, right? But you meet them there in that phase of their life. And then you get with them and you say, where do you want to be? Don't put a time cap on it, but where do you see yourself? Where do you see your life in the future? How do you see yourself? Vibrant, healthy, happy, traveling, successful, having fun with your kids. What does your life look like outside of where you are in this moment? So let's go where you are today and let's take manageable, low stress steps to get to where you want to be, right? Doesn't that sound fabulous? Well, I wish I'd had somebody do that for me. Health coaches are so necessary in this world. We are so needed. We fill that hole that was missing for me, for people just like me, all those years where I was on that search for help. I remember after 21 doctors and over a decade of searching and being poked and prodded and scanned and Lord knows how much radiation I exposed myself to, trying to find out why I felt so bad, where my pain was coming from, MRIs, CAT scans, IVs, diagnoses of fibromyalgia, MS, Chiari malformation, you name it, I was diagnosed with it. And many times doctors literally would just throw their hands up and say, let me just give you an antidepressant because I don't know what's wrong with you. All your tests are normal. Nothing's coming back to tell us what's going on. And I would go home and just cry. Thousands of dollars thrown down the drain on doctors and practitioners and people who were not able to help me. I did Reiki, kinesiology, active release technique, meditation, hypnotherapy, you name it, acupuncture. I did all of those things. And I'm sure that they had some benefit somewhere in my life. They probably helped me to relax some about what was going on with myself. But I really didn't have that person that stepped in and said, you know what, let's take away the overwhelm. Let's start with one small thing and let's see where we go from there. Had I just had that hope, just had that, I probably would have gotten better and gotten answers a lot sooner. And that's where you step in. So if you're considering a job, a profession, a job change, or a profession leap into the health coaching world, I really want you to stick with that feeling, because if it's niggling at you a little bit that you have that knowledge and that passion to help others, then you do. It's in there. It's in deep. It's in there. And I want you to pay attention to that because there's a reason for it. We all have a divine purpose on this earth. And if you've walked through that journey and you think, I just struggled so much. Why did I have to struggle and suffer? Why did I go through this? Maybe the reason that you had to walk through that journey with your health or with the health of a family member or someone near and dear to you or someone that you love is because you're meant to take all of that passion and knowledge and share it with the world. And that's your divine purpose. But I want you to think about this as well, that we deserve to honor ourselves and make a living at doing this. Now, I know that's hard to fathom. Like, we want to be able to help people for free. I remember that feeling. Like, I just want to help everyone. I want to give everyone the hope that I didn't have. I don't need money for that. But it really, truly, money is an exchange of energy. So that if you want to honor the people that you're going to help, you honor yourself in return by accepting payment for that. And you know what? The more money that you make, the bigger difference you can make in the world. For me, the more money that I make, the more I'm able to donate, the more I'm able to do for free, and the more of myself I'm able to give in an honorable and joyful way. So consider this your wake-up call. Consider this your calling, your invitation to a profession that could change your life, that could change the life of people around you, in your immediate life, and the people that you don't even know yet. There's a world waiting for you out there. It's got your name on it. And you can do that locally. You can do it online. But the Institute for Functional Health Coaching is going to show you how to do that in a safe, low-risk way that gives you great joy and gives you the life that you love. Not that you're going to make six figures and go on a yacht somewhere. You're going to make a difference, and you're going to make an honorable living, and you're going to feel good about what you're doing. And people are going to flock to you. You're going to be like a magnet. I promise you. Thanks so much for listening. And I look forward to teaching you even more and welcoming you into this world, this up and coming world of health coaches. We are really on the edge of a big boom in this industry, and I hope you stick around for it.